Welcome, everyone. If you want to get in on the letting us know your favorite emoji, drop it in the chat. Yeah, the cactus, I love that one. We have to in Nebraska, we'll have to go with corn to kind of match the vibe there too.
We're so excited you guys are joining us for Social Media Mastery, your questions, expert answers. If you don't know who is presenting today, it is our keynote speaker, Chelsea Pites. We are excited not only to have her today, but this is kind of a sneak peek into her time that she will be coming to Nebraska and bringing that nice sunshine from Arizona with. And so Market Tech, if you have already registered, we're so excited to see you. If you haven't, save the date. It is March 25th and 26th in Kearney, Nebraska. And we're excited. So I'm going to pass it over to Tanya, who's going to let you know how we made it possible to have our keynote on as kind of a teaser into Market Tech.
Awesome. Yes. We love to just thank our sponsors. And so our featured sponsor of this week is Mobius Communications, and they are based in Hemingford, Nebraska. They currently serve over 3,000 customers in the Nebraska Panhandle. They have a robust fiber network. Couple additional things about them. They offer a comprehensive suite of services, including high-speed internet, telephone, television, security solutions, managed IT services, computer sales and services, business phone systems, and low voltage wiring. So they offer a lot to people in the Nebraska Panhandle. So if you are looking for any of those services, we encourage you to reach out to them. They'll work with small businesses of all sizes. And so they are just based in Hemingford. And then we'd like to highlight our featured member of this week's training. And this is Jayhawk Boxes. Might be confusing with the name, but he goes by Lawrence Paper Company, but his business name is Jayhawk Boxes here in Nebraska. You might have, if you've been to Market Tech, you might have met Scott. He comes to Market Tech each year, and he's been a member with us since 2014. So they are a leading industry in congregated packaging. So they're located in Fremont, Nebraska. They started in 1957 and has just grown to house some of the industry's most modern and efficient machinery, kind of enabling them to meet the packaging needs quickly. Currently, Grow Nebraska, we get our gift boxes through him. If you've seen them on our social media. And so if you're looking for branded boxes, or you're looking for specific box sizes, this would be a great Grow Nebraska member to reach out to.
So without further ado, welcome once more. We are going to let Chelsea take the stage. Come prepared, keep that chat hot, and ask questions.
Yay, thank you so much. Thanks everybody for being here. I did a class a few weeks ago where we talked about video, and today we're going to do everything you've ever wanted to know about social media and more, but we're afraid to ask or didn't think to ask. So what I wanted to do is, because there's usually so many questions that happen, especially when we do a live event, and there's going to be some incredible other speakers there. I'm going to be speaking twice at the Market Tech Conference. I'm going to be speaking in the morning and also in the afternoon. And you may or may not get enough time to ask all of your questions. So what I like to do, usually before or after or both from a conference, is just get on a live chat and answer any of your social media questions, because there can be a lot of them. And don't worry, I'm not going to call on anyone. None of us can see you anyway. You can just get familiar with the chat. There's actually a chat, which it says chat, looks like two little like text message boxes. There's also a Q&A. It doesn't matter which one you use. I'm probably going to be using the chat, but feel free to drop your question in either one of those opportunities for asking questions. So I'm going to kick us off, because I know how this works. I've been a teacher for years and years and years. And every time I'm like, okay, does anybody have any questions? It's very quiet. So I'm going to start us off with a few questions. The most common questions that I get when it comes to social media are typically questions about: how often do I need to post? Are there better days and times for posting to get more reach and exposure and get more people seeing my content? And what is the best frequency? Like, should I be making sure that I'm doing something 3 times a week? Does it need to be every day? So, the first topic that we're going to cover is how often should you be posting? And I will tell you that ultimately, you don't have to be posting every single day. Now, some of you might absolutely be social media fanatics. Maybe you love social media. Maybe you love creating content. That's not me. Even as somebody who is a full time content creator, a speaker, and an author about social media, I don't get a lot of joy creating a new video every single day. I create something that is in a sustainable, long-term plan for myself that I know that I can do for weeks, months, and years. So the one thing is you can post more often. Will you grow faster? Will you get more reach? On some platforms, yes, they say that. So for example, TikTok or Instagram, they say, hey, post more because the more you post, the more reach you could possibly get. But to what cost is what I ask. So, is this going to be super stressful for you? Are you going to get completely burned out? Are you going to hate making content for social media because you feel like you have to do it every day? So, if you need the permission to stop posting every day, I'm here to give it to you. And I'm going to tell you what you should be doing if you're not posting every day and how this can help you grow your business and brand. So the algorithms, right? All of these software programs that are running Facebook, LinkedIn, any platform that you might be using, they all have these things called algorithms. And they don't just have one algorithm, they have a ton of them. And really, nobody knows what exactly goes into all of the things. And even if we did, there's no way that a human being, especially somebody who's an entrepreneur, a small business owner like yourself, who is most likely managing your own social media and marketing, is going to be able to do all of those things. It would be almost humanly impossible. But to just really keep it super duper simple, it's not necessarily the content that you post or put onto these platforms that really the algorithm cares about. And it's really not the posts or the content that your clientele, your future clients, or your current clients are going to remember. At the end of the day, before social media existed, it's about relationships and how many people you're getting in front of and telling, hey, here's what I do, here's how I can help you, and let me connect with you as a human being. It's how many people did you talk to? How many conversations are you having? And I personally think that social media, regardless of the platform that you choose, is a really great, free, easy place to actually have conversations with people, whether it's in private message, direct message, Facebook Messenger, whatever you want to call their messaging or their DM section of the app, and comments, right? Commenting, actually having conversations. Those are the things that really, really drive your algorithm. How does that work? Well, the whole point of social platforms is they want you to spend more time on it, right? They want you to go down a rabbit hole and spend more time. And oh my gosh, an hour has already gone by and I don't even know how long I've spent here in this app. And then, of course, they're going to serve you ads on whatever platform you're at. And hopefully, maybe you'll click on them. And that's a good thing for them to tell their advertisers is, hey, look at all these people in this activity that we have on this app. So the whole point, as we know, is to keep you glued to that app. That's not our goal. That's not my goal for you. I personally fall down the rabbit hole because I am a human myself as well. But thinking about, they want people to stay on the app. What is something that keeps people coming back to these apps? Well, conversations. If I make a post and I know that people might comment on it, well, when they comment, it's going to give me a notification inside of that app, and I'm going to go and look at it to retrieve that information. And so, one of the things that is often discounted in social media is we always focus on the content. We'll get there, right? We focus on video and what to post and content. I like to flip that on its head. I like to do a little bit of a paradigm shift where I like to say less contenting, more commenting. And what happens with that is a couple of things. One, you're a whole lot less stressed having to come up with new content ideas all the time. If I said, okay, could you send 3 direct messages to some clients that you've worked with before? Or could you comment on 3 posts of people that you know and like and trust that you're already following in Facebook? And the answer is usually, yeah, I could do that. It wouldn't only take me a minute. Versus, okay, now you can make 3 videos and we're going to do like a how-to video. We're going to talk about your products. It takes more time and then therefore a little bit more stress. So one, your content stress is going to dissolve. You're going to say, huh, this isn't as awful as I have been making it, right? The second thing that's really, really cool is that when you talk to people on these platforms, those algorithms start to pay attention. And they start to say, oh, you're talking, whether you're commenting on someone's post or you're sending them a message through an Instagram story or a Facebook story, it's noticing that you are engaging with these different accounts. And so what it's going to do is say, the fact that you have been engaging with these accounts, well, maybe if we serve you more of those people's content, maybe you'll have a better time inside of our app and maybe you'll stay longer. So, in essence, who you talk to really matters. And when you do make a post next week, that person that you've been talking to is more likely to see it. So, I always say start with commenting first, start with engaging, being a proactive engager, and then think about the content. So, what's a sustainable schedule for you posting something? I like to encourage people to spend a few minutes talking to your community every weekday. Okay. It's like a few minutes, like 2 to 5, not hours, right? Because we all have 2 to 5 minutes. That's going into Facebook. That's going down the feed, maybe making a few comments. Maybe it's sharing someone's Facebook post to your story. It could be on LinkedIn, wherever it may be. It's that engagement first, couple of minutes. Then what I personally do, and most of my clients do, is we come up with something that feels like we could do this for a really long time. And I always start people with literally 1 post a week. I know that sounds like hardly anything. 1 post a week? What? Because what we can do is we can build on that. We can be sustainable with I can do 1 post a week. I can commit to that for a month. I can commit to that for 6 months. I can commit to that for a year. Sometimes we get so excited about doing social media, especially when we go to like a really cool conference like Marketech, we get all these ideas. We're like, oh, I'm going to do 4 posts a week. And then life happens. And then we get burned out. And then we go on vacation or we get sick or whatever, right? Happens. And then when we fall off of our goal, it's harder for us to get back there. And so I always say you can always add more posts, but posting every day in and of itself is not necessarily going to get you more business. If your posts have you in it and are really like high value or high entertaining, that's one thing. Then that might be something that helps you. But if you're posting and you're not getting any engagement, posting more and continuing to not get any engagement is actually not going to help you. So I tell people pull back, talk to people more, and then find something sustainable. If it's once a week for you, I love that. If it's twice a week and that doesn't feel overwhelming, amazing. What's nice about doing more than 1 post a week, let's pretend we're going to do 2, okay? What's nice about doing 2 posts a week is that you can have different formats. And having different formats is nice to sort of mix it up and make it a little bit more variety, if you will. So if you're on Facebook, maybe it's a video, one of your posts, or maybe the next one is just a picture, or maybe it's text-based. So it's a nice way to mix it up. Me personally, I talk to people every single day in comments and also direct messages. I post in the feed twice a week. That's usually what I do. But because I'm talking to people, right, my audience, they see those posts when I make them, which is awesome. Okay, so a long way to answer that there is no best day of the week. There is no best time of day. There is no magic formula that works for every single person on how many times you should be posting. Post whenever you know you will be more likely to do it, because it's now not about who's the most recent poster. It's about, is this something that I'm interested in? If you're not interested in this person's content topic, the algorithm is not going to show it to you. It's not about recency, like how recent did I post it? It's about how relevant is this? If I'm vegan, I'm probably not going to be interested in like recipes that have meat in them, right? So they're not going to serve that to me. If I'm interested in fitness, then I'm likely going to see more fitness related content. If I've searched something, I'm going to see content related to that topic of search. So really, these algorithms are kind of working in your favor now. So stay on your topic of whatever your area of expertise is, and eventually that algorithm is going to say, I know exactly what you talk about. I know that you make specific boxes for moving. Okay, well, we're going to serve you to people who are interested in small businesses or moving in that area. And so you don't have to worry about posting every day or specific time. Just stay consistent. Whatever that looks like for you may be different. And know that talking to people is really, really, really going to be the best thing you can do for your future content. So some people say, well, I'm hiring like an agency and they're doing everything for me. That's great. We love outsourcing. If you're doing that and you're not seeing results, it's likely because the engagement piece is missing. Somebody who posts on a regular basis that doesn't engage versus somebody who posts on a regular basis and does engage, that's going to actually see more traction. Good question. Should I be posting the same thing on multiple platforms or should it be different? Will that hurt the algorithm? So I'll give you two perspectives on this. And I'm in one corner personally, but like there's no right or wrong way to do it. Is posting the same piece of content on multiple platforms going to get you more eyeballs and more reach? Of course. Yeah, absolutely. And there are tools that you can use. Like there's one that I'm thinking of right now, Loomly or Buffer or any kind of like social media posting tool where they will post it to multiple places, which is kind of nice. You don't have to do that unless you want to. I don't post on multiple places because I don't have the capacity or the desire to be everywhere at the same level that I am where I like to hang out, which is Instagram, because it would be overwhelming and I would burn myself out. So you have permission to pick your favorite one. If you're a Facebook person, if you're a LinkedIn person, whatever you focus on expands. A lot of people are like, well, I don't have clients on TikTok, so I'm not going to go over there, but it's my favorite one. I'm like, well, that's the limiting belief that we have. I know you will find your audience on any platform. But if you absolutely loathe going to LinkedIn, you're not going to want to go there as much. So find the one that you love. Is your community more on Facebook? Do you like being on Facebook? Do you like being on Instagram? And if you are creating content and you have the bandwidth and the ability, yeah, you could absolutely repost them to other platforms. It's a really smart strategy for what we call repurposing. Another kind of variation of repurposing is taking one idea and making multiple posts in different formats. And I used to get really overwhelmed. I used to think I'm going to run out of ideas. I've got nothing. I feel like I've posted everything that I can post. And there's like, what if I run out of things to say? But what I wasn't thinking of is I could say the same thing in a different way. And one of the different ways I can say the same thing is the format that I choose to create the post in. So if I were going to make a video, so I'm assuming Fabulous Brews, maybe it's a brewery, right? Or coffee or brews. So maybe I would make a talking head video about the business, right? Or maybe it's about a specific topic or recipe or something like that. And then I can make a post that has pictures about the same topic, right? So one idea is always multiple posts. And so I don't make them all at the same time either. Like here's exactly what I'm going to do today. I just made an Instagram reel and I'm talking in it. Okay. So I'm explaining, I'm educating. It's an expertise based, like how to kind of a reel. I will take the same exact idea, not right away. It could even be weeks or months from now. And I'll say, oh, yeah, that one topic that I made that talk to camera video on, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to recycle that topic. In fact, I may not even change the words that I said, and I'm going to put it into a text based post. So instead of being a video where I'm talking, it's the same ideas that I'm sharing, like the same tips, but maybe it's just text, like tip number 1 on one slide, and then you swipe through and it's tip number 2. It's the same exact content, it's just in a different format. And then maybe the next thing I'll do later on is I'll do what's called a B-roll video. And a B-roll video is just simply where I'm not actually talking directly to the camera, but it's maybe like me in the coffee shop or me in the office and I'm typing on my computer or something like that. And there's just text that is placed on the screen. So now I've got 3 pieces of content, all with the same idea, different formats. And so that's a way that you can also exponentially create more content without having to reinvent the wheel. So you totally can be on every platform or not if you don't want to. Every algorithm is its own, so it's not connected. I guess the closest thing might be like Facebook and Instagram, but they still have their own algorithms. And the cool thing about Facebook and Instagram is you can connect them. So if you post one, you post on the other. Is it better to post directly or use the buffer scheduler? Yeah, and then Angela says, which is your favorite scheduler? So yeah, I'll type it in here. So I don't use a scheduler now because you know what's interesting is that a lot of the platforms are trying to create the third-party platforms that we're used to using. So for example, now you can schedule everything directly inside of Instagram. You don't even need to like use a third-party one. Loomly.com. Okay. I don't even know if that's like an actual link if it goes to it, but it looks like it linked it. So I don't hold me responsible for that. I just typed in the .com and it looks like it linked. But Loomly is the site that I have used, and I think it was like $35 a month or something like that. It would, you could upload calendars and make the post and then say, here, go to Facebook, go to Instagram, go to LinkedIn, etc. But there's no better platform than the other. Like if you love Buffer and it works for you, great, that's awesome. But once upon a time, long time ago, there was this idea that if I use a scheduler, the platform will know and they're not going to like that. And they're not going to show my content to as many people because I'm using a scheduler. Now, that is not the truth because every scheduler that is connecting to like a Facebook or an Instagram or a LinkedIn requires the approval from that company so that they can plug in the API to the actual platform. So everything's been approved, which is great. So there's not going to be any algorithmic dings on your content, meaning they're not going to suppress your content or your reach if you're using a scheduler. So feel free to go ahead and use your scheduler. One of the things that sometimes happens though is when we have a schedule and we make our content and we pop up all of our stuff we're going to post for the next 30 days. Like I love that for you if you do that. I can't even like I do my content that week. But if you are organized enough and you're like, I've got 30 days of content or 3 weeks and I'm going to schedule it all out, that's amazing. But what happens in the in-between is when you go to do the scheduling, there's no engagement. So even though you have all the stuff scheduled out, so sometimes people say, I'm frustrated because I'm scheduling this stuff out and nothing's happening, and they think it's the scheduler, right? But it's not actually the scheduler. It's probably because you're not going in and engaging, and there could be some things that are off with the messaging, etc. So you can pick whatever platform you like. And then Angela said, I use BigView, but it seems not to be seamless for all social media platforms. What is BigView? BigView is a teleprompter app. So if you are making videos and you want to be able to sort of like read the teleprompter, it's an app where you can like put in your script. I didn't know that it actually allowed you to connect to a platform, so that's interesting. Sometimes there are hiccups, right? Sometimes there's weird things that happen, and it is kind of a pain in, to have to download it, save it to your camera roll, and then go over to the platforms and upload it. But that might be the better way to do it if you're having a glitch with that. Should the caption be changed up per platform? I notice my Facebook does well and Instagram hardly gets any engagement. Okay, you actually got 2 questions in one here. The one question is, do I need to change up the captions / content? And the other question is like, why does some stuff perform better on one platform and some stuff performs better on a different platform? There are what I call sort of like languages, if you will, or styles that, tend to be platform specific. For example, um, TikTok is a lot of unedited kind of FaceTime story like content. Like there's a lot more people on LinkedIn and YouTube that are doing more edited videos than you would find on TikTok. So the styling, if you will, is like if it's super edited, it may not perform as well on TikTok. It may perform better on LinkedIn because it's super edited, because we're used to seeing more content that's unedited on TikTok, just as an example. So yes, sometimes one will perform better on one platform and won't perform as well on the other. Again, if you are overwhelmed by the idea of changing your caption, I don't think you need to change it. I really don't. I think you just keep it the same just for efficiency. And I think that you will find that styles might perform differently on different platforms. More edited, more expertise driven type of talking head video about a topic might perform better on LinkedIn or YouTube versus something that is very casual, very unedited. Me talking like I'm talking to a friend on an Instagram story may perform better on TikTok. So I wouldn't say that you should have to change anything there, but yes, you're right that it does sometimes not perform on one and it performs on another. Good question. Okay, so what's your recommendation to gain more followers on Instagram? Well, that is actually one of the questions that I was going to talk about. So thank you very much for that. I appreciate that, Amanda. So number one, let's talk about metrics in general. When I say metrics, right? Let's talk about follower growth, the number of followers, views, likes, that sort of thing, right? It's hard because we live in a world where we like measure things, right? And we think, okay, so if I'm growing, that means I'm getting more reach and I'm doing better. So what I always say is start with the community that you already have. It's not necessarily about growth isn't always wider, it could be deeper. So depending on like how engaged is your current community, I have some people that are like, I get 100% of my business from people I already know, like referrals, right? Which is amazing. So it may not be in your major goal interest to grow and get out to new people, right? Yeah, it'd be great, icing on the cake, but I really want to go deep with the people I already have. So follower count in and of itself, if you got a lot more followers, it's not going to make you more successful. It might give you a little bit more reach, a little bit more eyeballs. But what I will say is specifically about Instagram, okay, is that when you post something on Instagram, like to the feed, that's going to show to people that you are following you and people that don't follow you. And you might even want to try a new feature that is on Instagram Reels. There's a new button. I can't remember when it came out, a couple weeks ago. Maybe it's been a month. It's called Trials, the Trials feature. That, if you turn that on, it's just like a little toggle switch. If you turn that on, it is going to post your Instagram Reel to only people that don't follow you. So that's kind of cool. So you might find that that's a way for you to grow more intentionally, or to at least put your content out in front of people that don't actually know you. And on the other shoe, like the other foot, some people are like, no, I want my community to see me. They're the ones that are going to engage with it, and so they may not care about trial reels. But it is a long game. There is no magic bullet or magic pill for followers. It is truly a lot about getting shared by your current community, or getting shared by people that maybe see your content, they don't follow you, but there was something that resonated, they really enjoyed it, and they share it either to their stories or they share it with a group of people. So shared content is a really, really solid way to grow and get more reach. And what's nice about when people share your content is when I share something to someone, they're already like bought in. They're like, oh, Chelsea sent this to me, then that she must follow them, or she likes it, then they're kind of already are almost bought in. So shareable content is what's helping people grow. On all the platforms. If we share something, then that person's going to get more reach and grow. But don't be overly concerned about followers. It's okay if you have 50 followers, right? Versus 50,000. Because I would rather have 50 really engaged humans that I'm chatting with on a regular basis, that are engaging with my content, than 50,000 people and maybe even bots that don't engage or use my service or my product. The other side of the coin on that, when I was talking about views, etc., is we get really wrapped up in the world of metrics and we start to feel really discouraged if you're making posts. Like, not every post is going to be as good or better than the other, right? So we get wrapped up in views and metrics and we get really discouraged. And what I will tell you is that views does not equal value. Views does not equal money in your bank account. Views does not equal clients. So if you get 3,000 views and you get zero business out of it, would you rather have 300 views and 3 people actually reach out for business? Probably. So I look at numbers and metrics with a little bit of a grain of salt. But the best way to grow your followers is to create content that gets shared by your current community. You could also do paid campaigns. My specialty is organic, which is unpaid, but certainly you could do paid campaigns on Instagram and Facebook to grow as well. Let's see. I do only post once a week, but I always feel it's the same thing. How do I keep my content fresh? Okay. So, depending, not everybody's going to be in the same category of business that you are, but I kind of look at 3 simple categories. Okay. This is what I personally use. I think of personal, okay, personal category. And I don't mean private, I mean human stuff, right? Like, what's happening in your business, what you're watching on Netflix, like human stuff, right? Small talk stuff, because small talk leads to big talk. And we need those opportunities for low thought, like, I don't have to think so much about this content, but I can engage, right? So personal, expertise, and sales. And so the personal is, things that would garner engagement, or if you're asking people questions, is a great way to get engagement. Asking for people's help, insight, feedback. Maybe it's, you're like, hey, we want to repaint the entryway of our business. Like, what paint do you think we should use? I know you're like, but that doesn't have anything to do with my business. Well, you do mention your business in it, but it has everything to do with getting people to talk with you and engage and feel like they're helping you. And the more that they talk to you on that post, the more they're going to see your other posts. So personal would be a category. Expertise, like, what is your area of expertise? Okay, what recipes are you making? How do you source it? Like, what are the questions that people ask when they come into your business? What are the questions that you're like, if one more person asks me this, I'm going to scream? You should have content about that. And then the last one is sales. Like, you need to tell people, here's how you can work with me. Here's what I offer. And then you're like, yeah, but I don't get a lot of engagement on that. It's not meant for engagement. The personal is meant for engagement. The expertise stuff is meant to be those billboards along the highway that you're driving by, but instead of driving by, you're scrolling, right? We want to see you again and again and again. And if you are sharing that behind the scenes of your business, or how you help people, or why you got into the business, or your weekly specials or recipes and that sort of thing, then people are going to see those billboards as they're driving down the highway. And if they engage with you on the personal stuff, they're more likely to engage with you on the expertise, or here's a little bit about my business stuff. And then the sales stuff is to get sales. It is to get sales. It is not to get comments or engagement. So the expertise builds your trust and gets shares, saves, tells the algorithm that this is what your content is about and who should see it. And then the sales is like, hey, we're having a special, we're doing an event, or even testimonials, right? Testimonials can be sales posts. If there's any, like, let's say your products, what you sell, what you do, those are sales posts, and those are meant to tell people, hey, here's what we do. So you can actually work with us. And because they've engaged with those other ones. So those are the main broad categories that I use. Now, you could also try the different formats, like I mentioned. So if you've got one video that you've done, maybe you turn it into a different format. Another thing that I always recommend is, especially if you don't have a product like that is a personal brand, like if you're a dentist or a realtor or someone in mortgage, well, you actually are the personal brand. If you're a restaurant, if you are representing a business, then you're not really the personal brand. I mean, if you're the owner, but you may or may not want to be the personal brand. If that's something that you are interested in, I would say the people who work with you, the people who make things happen, the person who owns the business truly is going to get more engagement because we engage with humans on social media. Like we just can't help but see that. So I would say, are you bringing in the human elements as well? So let me see if there was something else in there. Affiliate marketing is exploding certain types of businesses. Shopify even has apps focused in this area. What are your thoughts in this area for companies that are growing or producing their own products? Yeah. Gosh, affiliate marketing has been around for so many years, right? And Shopify and other apps that are helping people like pop up businesses right away, like kind of like Etsy, if you will, in their businesses. It's not really like a social media channel, but you certainly can leverage your online products through Shopify or an Instagram shop. Um, Instagram has its own shops, and I think, don't quote me on this because I don't have a shop on Instagram, but I think you actually have to have a Shopify set up in order to set up your Instagram shop. Or at least that's what it used to be. So, yeah, with affiliate marketing, as far as like, how do I market that on my social media? One, you should have a very clear link wherever you're at on social media. It's a little bit different because you're not going to have that on your personal Facebook, but like your Instagram profile, your bio, you need to have a link to your store, your checkout page, and you need to tell people, hey, if you want to buy our latest thing, or if you want X amount off, or, if you want this, click here. So a lot of us do not have calls to action where we're telling people why they need to click the link in our Instagram bio. We just have a link up there and like nothing showing that. So I'd make sure, do you have something that describes what happens when you click on the link? Can I get your latest merch? Can I download your latest lead magnet? Do you have a discount code or a special or something like that? So make sure that there's a link to wherever you can sell your products. If you are doing affiliate marketing, you need to be very, 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 very clear that you are an affiliate and disclose that, because there are laws around advertising and affiliate marketing and letting people know, hey, I'm going to get a small percentage of whatever. Here's my code. And so just letting people know that. So just keep that in mind on your website or in your social media posts, or just letting people know I do have an affiliate link and what that means. So you can, certainly go through your stories and share that too, but have a link, right? Tell people where they can go and what they're going to get. And some people even like to send them directly to a checkout page, because sometimes if you send them to a home page, it gets a little bit lost. Ty says, what ratio do you blend the 3 topics, personal expertise and sales? I'm guessing that you love a chart or a to-do list. No, I do too. So I keep it very general. You can, if you want to, if it really helps you to have more of like a tracking, if you will, or a calendar, you can set it up where whatever your post cadence is, let's say you're doing 2 posts a week, okay? So maybe Monday is your personal post, and Wednesday is an expertise, and then the next Monday is a sales. You can roll through it like that if you want. You do not have to do 3 posts a week so that you get in the personal expertise and sales. I don't do that. I also don't make it really stringent. Sometimes I do 3 personal back to back, and then I'll do a sales, and then I'll do 2 expertise. Sometimes I do 3 expertise. So I just kind of look at it and say, gosh, am I kind of falling out of balance here a little bit with some of the things that I do? Because a lot of times we might lean really heavy on sales. And if we don't have some of the other stuff, we won't find it converting as much on sales if we haven't given them other things to engage with and build that trust online. So you can make it as specific and calendared as you like, or if you're like me, I just keep it very simple and broad. And I'm like, "Oh, I've done a couple of personal." So what I usually like to do is a personal and an expertise post, and do that as well. Sometimes I just do both expertise posts because I love teaching and I love that kind of content. And so that is where I find that I lean into a lot on that. So you can make it your own. Do you think it's vital to have a Facebook and or Instagram shop if we just have a website? I'm going to give examples of what the pros and cons are to this. We only have a website. Yeah, you know what? I'm a big fan of using what you have. And I will tell you for years, friends, I did not even have a website. I was doing everything like what I could. My capacity at that time was I know how to do an Instagram DM and I can have someone DM me. And that's what I did for business. I would say, DM me if you want blank. Okay. Not automated, not ideal, but I knew that's what I had the capacity for. And I wasn't going to say, well, I'm not going to get business because I don't have a website. So you don't have to run out and get all the things. You don't have to make an Instagram shop. Yeah, it makes it easy, easier because it's in the app, so to speak. So if I click your link and I go to your website, which I do a ton, by the way, I go to a lot of people's websites. And I easily can just see what it is that, like, if I see something that you have and you tag it and, I can go right to your website, that's great. So use what you have. You do not have to feel like, oh my gosh, now I'm going to have to like make this Shopify thing and I'm going to have to do an Instagram. The nice thing about an Instagram shop is that when you click on something, it keeps me inside of Instagram, which is what Instagram wants, right? And then I can, depending on how you set it up, I can scroll through and I can see the different, products and I can just buy it right there. So I can it saves my information, it saves my credit card, and I can just buy it right through there. So it's totally okay. You do not have to have all those things. I feel like I used to get really stressed out and think, oh my gosh, now I have to set this up. Now I have to have this. Now I have to get this. Now I have to have a funnel. Now I have to do ads. And it was too much and it became overwhelming. And then I got burned out and then I didn't want to do it. So yeah, you can have a website and you can have the direct link in your post. Now, something you should know about links. If it's Instagram, you're not going to be able to put a clickable link in the caption, like where the text goes. Like if you have a post, like let's say you have a picture of your product, or like you can swipe through and see different pictures. The hard part is they're not going to let you put like a link in that caption. You can put a link in your stories, your Instagram stories, and they have a little sticker. So if you go to the sticker menu, it says link. And then you can click it, and you might already know this, but for the benefit of everyone else, and then you can put the link on your story. But the hard part is you can't put links in the caption because it's not clickable. So again, we want to try to make it as seamless and easy as possible, which that is a benefit of an Instagram shop, is that they are going to make it so that you can tag your products and people can just click on it. So it might be something that you want to consider, but do it when you're ready, and your website is totally okay. And make sure that that website link is in your Instagram bio, and whatever you're promoting, if it's like a special or a type of product, that it should take them directly to that product. So it's not like it takes them to like the home page and they're like, oh my gosh, where is this thing? Because we don't want to lose them. So that's what I would recommend for that. So if you want to do the shop, you can, but you are totally okay with using what you have for a while. And if you don't have a website, that's okay too. You can still get leads through social media. You're probably going to have to do a little bit more manually. Another tool that's paid that you can use is something called ManyChat. I will put this in here. ManyChat. I think it's like $40 a month, and it works on Instagram only, at least right now. It might work on Facebook at some point, but it's approved by Meta. And what this does is you can set up a keyword. Excuse me. So if you've seen people make posts and they're saying, hey, if you want to get your discount, just drop the word blank in the comments. Or if you want to get more information about my download, drop the word blank in the comments, right? And you set up the word. So it could be coffee, it could be guide. And what they're using is this tool called ManyChat, which automates that process so that every time somebody leaves a comment that says that word, the trigger word that they said, on the back end of ManyChat and Instagram, it's going to send them like a copy paste thing that you've typed in a message with that link. So that's going to be a lot more efficient than you going in and seeing that every single person has commented, excuse me, and then manually sending them a link. But that still works. Okay, I think I got all the questions so far. Sorry, I'm choking on my nothing on water. Excuse me. Okay, so we covered days, times, posts per week. I also want to cover, sorry guys, I also want to cover the differences between feed posts and like stories. So Facebook, Instagram, there's feed posts, and you can have different types of feed posts. You can have pictures, videos, albums, swipeable things. And you can also have videos. Okay. Now they're calling videos reels on Facebook and Instagram. It's all reels. Okay. So the question often comes up of, I know there's stories, I know there's feed posts, like which one should I be doing and when? So I'll tell you a little bit of a comparison of feed posts versus stories on Instagram and Facebook. Stories only last 24 hours. Okay, so this is supposed to be sort of like a little bit of a daily, day-to-day behind the scenes kind of documenting whatever you're doing. It doesn't have to be, like you could certainly share specials and information about your products, of course, but they're only going to last 24 hours. And they're only going to be seen by people that already follow you. It's a great way to continue to nurture your community, especially if you get a lot of referrals from your community. Okay, it's awesome. And so you're not going to grow. You're not going to grow if you're only posting to stories. Okay. Now, if you're posting a Facebook reel or even a picture on Facebook or an Instagram reel or an Instagram, picture post, whatever it may be, those posts are going to get served to the community that follows you and they become searchable. So if you make a post about, I don't know, the top 3 ways to garden your yard with whatever, people who are looking for stuff that has to do with gardening, etc., they're going to potentially maybe see your content. So that in and of itself is a great way to potentially get seen by new people. Over on Instagram, it's much more so than Facebook, but Instagram is going to, if you post a reel on Instagram, it is going to for sure send it out to people that follow you and non-followers. You try that trial reel thing and then it's all non-followers. So posts that go in the feed, yes, they're seen by people that already follow you and it's a great way to nurture, and they are opportunities for you to potentially get in front of new people. So it's a growth opportunity. Now, if you only did reels, you'd get a lot of people, but you may not convert those people as fast if you're never engaging with them or they're getting to know you in the stories, right? So I like to combine them. I say there's not one that's better than the other. It's what do we use stories for? Stories are to nurture our current community and for conversions. Why do conversions happen in stories? Because people get to know you there. People get to have one-on-one conversations, right? People get to ask you questions about your area of expertise in a way that's private because they're sending you a DM and it's not in a comment thread where, everybody else could see it. So it feels very human. It feels very connecting. And so you'll get a lot of conversions. I get the most conversions, the most sales from my stories, not my feed posts, right? So some people it's opposite, but a lot of us get a lot of our sales through the stories. So I look at stories as nurture and conversion. I look at feed posts, specifically reels, as growth, as reach, and also some nurturing. So I would say recommend using them together. The next question is, well, do I need to do it every day? Like what's the breakdown? Again, lean into what you like. I love stories. I don't love making Reels as much as I love stories. So I do stories on a daily basis because I like it. It's easy for me, it's quick. I post twice a week to the feed, but I talk to people every day. I do stories. I post twice a week. Sometimes, if I'm feeling wild, 3 times a week to the feed. So that's how I personally do it. Not recommending like that everybody does it that way. You may not like stories. I have friends that do not like stories at all. They like to live in reels, and that's okay too. So that's kind of the combination of how they work together. Now, LinkedIn doesn't have stories, but LinkedIn does have a dedicated vertical video feed. So if you are making Instagram Reels, you can always pop those over onto LinkedIn now too, and of course YouTube Shorts, etc. TikTok does have stories, but really their bread and butter is, you know, the vertical video feed that goes out to everyone. So that's the difference between strategy on stories and feed posts. And another common question I get is multiple accounts. Multiple accounts. And usually this is a question about Instagram. Like, I have multiple accounts. I've got one for me as the human, I've got one for me as the business, and maybe you even have more than two. And you know, 2 accounts or, you know, any more, 2 accounts is twice the work, 3 accounts is 3 times the work. It is a lot more work. It is okay if you want to, as a sort of personal brand, small business owner, entrepreneur, it's okay if you include what you do and your small business in one account. It's also totally okay if you are the proprietor human here and then you also have, let's say you have a restaurant. It makes sense that you would have a page for the restaurant as well. The one area that it gets a little bit more challenging in is, let's say you are a personal brand slash small business owner that doesn't have like a brick and mortar. Like, for example, if you are a mortgage person, if you are a real estate agent, where you actually are like an entrepreneur, but you're the personal brand, right? I usually recommend having one account. Because if you are the personal brand, if you are the face of the brand itself, people want to connect with that person. So there's no wrong or right on multiple accounts, but it's very normal to have, if you're like, hey, here's my account and then here's my business. If you are sort of that personal brand where you're the face of it, I would recommend like, hey, it's just going to be easier and you're going to get more engagement and traction if you are in the majority of your content, and you can still be talking about what you do. You can still be talking about your mortgage expertise and your real estate expertise. But if we separate it out to the point where it's just like houses over here and you're over here, the houses over here aren't going to get any engagement because we're there for the person. Okay, so we still have a couple minutes. So what questions do we have left that maybe have come up? I'm going to drop my Instagram handle so that y'all can connect with me in case any kind of questions pop up afterwards. It's not unique, which is the best way to do it if you want to have people find you on search. It's just my name. So it's Chelsea.Pites on the gram. You can find me anywhere with my first and last name, but I usually hang out the most on Instagram, but you can send me a message on LinkedIn or wherever you may like to hang out. So what other questions do we have in the last few minutes? Let's see. Oh, looks like we got a little summary. Thanks for that. Okay. What if you have a couple of side hustles? Okay. Yeah. So this is like too niche or not too niche, right? A way that you could, if you wanted to not necessarily separate, like, so if it's a personal brand, that personal brand is the thread that connects everything together, right? And then you've got the personal expertise in the sales. So it's possible that your side hustle could fall under the personal. Like if you are a musician on the weekends and you like to play at the local coffee shop, right? But that's not like your main business. Well, then that's still an interest and you can put that under sort of the personal category. Another way to break this up, if you aren't quite sure where it fits, is you can put everything in the kitchen sink in stories. Instagram stories, Facebook stories is no rhyme or reason. That's why I love it. And you can continue to focus mainly on your specific business, your main hustle, if you will, in the feed posts. So that's a way that you could kind of break it up if you want. But people really do want to know what else we're interested in because we're multifaceted human beings. So if you're just not quite sure where that fits in, it could be like, okay, maybe this isn't under expertise, maybe this is personal. I would say there is a method to having a niche. When you know exactly who you're talking to, you know exactly what to say. You can build expertise for that area. And of course, it attracts other people that are looking for that. But I wouldn't be too worried about, oh my gosh, is this going to like totally mess up my algorithm? And I could never talk about anything else other than this like one thing. You have to talk about the thing a lot. And you might find that stories is a great outlet for you to also talk about your other like interests and, if you will, side hustles. So I'm glad that was helpful. All right, I've been adding my personal page on Instagram as a collaborator. Great. And I post the business page to try to gain more views. Okay, so in case you're not quite sure what that means, on Instagram, excuse me, if you have your business page and your personal page, there's a button when you're about to post your content and it says, would you like to invite a collaborator? I think you just like when you're tagging someone, you know how you can tag someone, put the @ symbol. When you tag someone now, you can tag your own account. So if I'm Chelsea over here and I have my business account over here, I can tag my own business account and it will pop up a little menu or a little thing that says, would you like to invite them to become a collaborator? What's the benefit? The benefit of doing a collaboration post where you're inviting someone to be a collaborator is that that particular post gets more reach and exposure because now it posts out to your personal and it posts onto your business. So while there might be some people that follow your business but don't follow your personal or vice versa. So maybe now the people that follow your personal but don't know about your business, they'll go and follow you over there. The real benefit of being a collaborator is to grow your audience with other companies and other businesses that have similar clientele. So again, sorry to go back to the same example, but it's just, easy in the mind. Real estate and mortgage, they partner a lot together. So it would make sense if they did a collaboration post together because the realtor, might be looking for that audience or vice versa. So yes, that's a great way to get a little bit more exposure to try that. I would say reels, definitely do those trial reels as well. Yes, another easy tip is anytime you make a post, share it to your story because a lot of people aren't spending time in the feed anymore. They're going to stories and they're not going to the feed. They might miss it. So I find that some people love the feed and some people love the stories. So you might want to go and share that, twice. So you're gonna have to go toggle back and forth to the other account, but like share it to your personal story and then go into the other account and then share that post that you just made as a collaborator into the story. And I would tell people if it's not clear in the actual post itself, tell people why they need to go and look at that post. Is it something they need to swipe through because it's educational and helpful and they're going to miss tips? Is it the caption they need to read? Sometimes it's obvious. Like if you have a picture of a grand opening and it says grand opening, like they're going to know that's what it's actually about, right? So really, 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 really good questions. That was a lively chat. So thank you everybody so much for all of your awesome questions. I really appreciated it. Hello, ladies.
Hey,
Our hosts are back with us.
it was really great questions. We loved seeing them all, and my head was turning with questions too. So it was great to see. So awesome. I will get us closing out here.
Yes, thank you again, Chelsea, for just taking the time to take our questions and give us your mastery knowledge for us to implement. And guys, again, if you love this as much as we did, come to Market Tech. Chelsea is going to be there. in person. So if you don't connect with her on Instagram after this with questions, come live in person. We have her captivated for 2 days, everybody. So March 25th and 26th in Kearney, check out markettech.com. We're telling you, our speaker lineup is phenomenal. You're not going to want to miss it. So if you have questions, reach out to us. We have this conference for our members specifically. Anyone can come, but if you're a member of Grow Nebraska, you get a special price. So be sure to take advantage of that. And if you have any questions about Grow Nebraska or even topics that you want us to cover in the coming months, feel free to reach out. We have our contact on the screen for you guys to reach out. We do have another webinar coming up. It's March 13th, so 1 week from today. Get Found, Got Growth. It's going to be Google focused. So be sure, if that's interesting to you, connect, join us live so you can keep asking these personal questions and get strong takeaways to implement for your business. Otherwise, we are on the final countdown for Market Tech. So Chelsea, we look forward to seeing you in a couple weeks. Thank you everyone for joining, and we will see you next time.